The day after I rode Tiger Mountain, I did manage to drive up to Bellingham to ride Galbraith Mountain. This isn't really a review of Galbraith. Let's just call it observation and commentary. So Google Maps takes you to this tiny parking area in the middle of a neighborhood. There are 8 parking spots here, all overlooked by literally someone's bedroom window. I mean, you kind of feel like you're intruding here. A local told me that the park on Galbraith Mountain is actually land leased from the Whatcom Timber Company, which is part of why it's so easy to get trails built up here. There are other places to park all around this mountain based on what kind of trails you want to ride. Upon driving into Bellingham, you see a couple of big mountains, and given the reputation of Galbraith, you think maybe one of those is Galbraith Mountain, but actually Galbraith is just a relatively insignificant looking escarpment right in the middle of town. There is nowhere on Galbraith that you can't hear the city below. It's that hyper-local. It's basically a city park. On Trail Forks, Galbraith looks like a bowl of spaghetti, and once you get on the ground, you realize to your horror that there are even more trails on the ground than there are on the map, and they're even labeled, but you don't know where they go. This place is insanely confusing, and even though it really isn't that large of a patch of land, it's impossible to ride the whole park in a day. There's a trail everywhere that there could be a trail. So, since I didn't know what I was doing, I rode from the north side of the park and I just followed my instincts and kept taking turns that looked like they climb up the hill. I kept climbing and eventually ended up at this exposed viewpoint looking out over Bellingham and Bellingham Bay. It's beautiful. This also afforded me the opportunity to see that the rock here is not basalt. These aren't the same volcanic hills I'm used to. These kind of looks like granite to me. Another nifty feature of Galbraith is that they have these kiosks located strategically at trail junctions that also double as checkpoints in case you need assistance. So that's thoughtful. They also have trail maps at these kiosks, not that they'll be of any assistance to you. They're even more confusing than what's in Trail Forks. Here's the thing about Galbraith. It's a locals trail system. Yes, it's famous. Yes, people come from all over to ride their bikes here. But it's not actually a destination ride for the riding so much as it's a destination to come see the apex of what's possible for a local trail system accessible from urban neighborhoods. Galbraith is what Forest Park down in Portland should be and could be if it was allowed to be managed properly. Galbraith is what every mountain biker, trail runner, and hiking junkie wishes they had in their city. Seriously, if you lived next to this park, you'd be the best biker you possibly could be. This place has it all. It has free ride and cross country and flow trail. That's what's remarkable. It's an urban park and yet it has a little bit of everything. Is any of it super epic? No, not really. None of it's disappointing, mind you. I mean, it's still amazing, but there's just only so much you can do with a hill like this that's literally in the middle of a city. Still, there's a lot to do in here. Would I travel across the country to ride here? Maybe as part of a larger trip and for intelligence gathering purposes, yes. But it's going to be better if you've got a local signed up to show you around because you're not going to figure this place out on your own. And even then, you'll only get that local's version of this trail system. It's clear that there are as many versions of Galbraith as there are people who ride it. So, I'm not going to give you directions for this park. That's not how a place like this works. Just know that it's here and that you've got to come ride it yourself. If you want to make the most of this trail system, you've got to be a local. That's just the long and the short of it. It would take me an hour to review this whole trail network, and in the end, everyone would come out of that exercise more confused than we went in. No, you can only get to know a place like this by riding it every day, by letting it sink into your mind and your bones day after day, ride after ride, just letting it become a part of you. It's built by the locals for the locals. Everyone is welcome, but not everyone is invited. And that's okay. That's how a local trail system should be. There should be goodies that are here only for the locals, and there probably are. So I'm not going to tell you how to find anything here. Come ride it yourself if you want to see for yourself. But if you really want to get the most out of Galbraith, then move to Bellingham.